Alright, I finally just read the comments on my Cloves and HooDoo video, and I've been posting about HooDoo for a while now, so I don't know why all of a sudden I'm getting shit for it. And if I can't say shit, then I'm sorry, you can take this video off YouTube. Um, so, I was in a group once on Yahoo, and they kept talking about HooDoo, and I'm like, what is this HooDoo you're talking about? And I guess, I'm not quite sure who the woman was. I think her name, I know she writes different HooDoo books and whatnot. I think she's associated with the HooDoo, like Conjurely or some magazine about hoodoo and voodoo and whatnot, which are not the same thing, by the way, so don't give me crap for that already. I'm kind of in a bad mood right now because I don't like when people kind of, there's a difference between saying, okay, this is what I believe, and what you're doing is evil, and you're wrong, and you're wrong, and you're wrong, and you're wrong, and you're wrong. I don't go out there ever and say that you're wrong. Okay? So I got into HooDoo because I was talking to these people, and there's books written, like well-researched written books, and then there's more books on HooDoo that are written by Wiccans and whatnot that I don't give like much consideration towards because I feel like most of the time, no offense Wiccans, that you guys take a little bit of everything and blend it together. And you don't really give respect to the religion that you're taking it from or the spiritual path or whatnot, which isn't all of you, but a lot of you are coming out and being taught by different publishing companies like Lulin, which a lot of the times their books and their authors do not do enough research and will just pull stuff out of their butt that makes no sense and is not correct if you do your history homework. The HooDoo thing, yes, I understand that most HooDoos, or like the people who practice HooDoo, tend to be African American and tend to be Christian. But HooDoo also has European influences and Native American influences. The Native Americans were not always Christian, obviously, until we came over here and converted them. So their influence with herbs and whatnot is not a Christian one. So I know that a lot of the people in the South tend to be Christian who practice HooDoo, but a lot of times I've also met HooDoos that are not super religious in any aspect, but they will use the Bible and whatnot for different, I always say it wrong, Psalms or Palms or whatever, different sections of the Bible that they'll read to go along with their magic. Just like the Pennsylvania Dutch or the Deitch, I'm not exactly sure how to say it, but the people who practice folk magic and on the East Coast, like the German immigrants and whatnot that came in, and the Appalachians and everything. So most of them are Christian as well, and they'll talk about witches that are being evil and whatnot. What I do, I tend to call witchcraft. I don't usually call myself a witch because I'll say I'm an animist, but a lot of people considering what I do will say that I'm a witch, right? So that's more of a new term that people are using, though. I don't really see it as like an old term. I wasn't taught by anybody except for myself. I mean, I've been to some classes and whatnot, but I tend to read things and practice things for myself and see how it works before I believe in something. I just like lost my train of thought. It happens when I get upset. But to say that witchcraft is evil and that we're all evildoers is a little messed up, and I would appreciate it if you never comment on my page like that again. You may have an opinion on something, but you just can say, like, I don't agree with witchcraft. In my view, witchcraft is this. Don't just say, witchcraft is evil, and you're evildoers, and we are against that, and blah, blah, blah. Have you watched my other videos? Have I ever said anything evil? Have I ever said, oh, I go in my backyard and I sacrifice goats and use their blood to curse people and blah, blah, blah. I don't do that. And not most pagans I know, most people who say they're witches I know, and most people who practice witchcraft I know would never even hurt an animal. But actually, most of the people I know in this pagan community here in San Diego are vegetarian or vegan and live really peaceful lifestyles. So is that evil to not want to eat meat and do that and to go out and explore nature and to be a happy-go-lucky person but occasionally try and do a spell to bring more prosperity or love or something into your life? That's not evil. That's working with the universe to try and bring some more abundance into your life. I don't know, I can stop and read some of these comments, but it's making me a little bit mad. I understand, yes, that HooDoo is probably taught through through family lines and whatnot, or like from communities. That's why in my other video, if you've seen videos before that I've done, that I'll say it changes based on where you go. Like New Orleans HooDoo would be a little bit different than some of the HooDoo you find in Georgia, which is a little bit more influenced by Native American practices and whatnot. This is just based on information from Lucky Mojo and some other practitioners of HooDoo who are actually from the South and have actually been taught and who have actually talked to, not some neo-pagan from, I don't know, San Diego, because I'm from San Diego, that pulled a book out that was written by a Wiccan author talking about HooDoo and saying that this is how they learned. Okay, I'm just trying to learn. There's no one here to teach me in San Diego HooDoo, and I wouldn't trust anybody here to say that they're HooDoo because most of the people here read out of books just like me. I don't have the money to go to Louisiana to go try and track down somebody who's going to teach me something, you know? And I feel like you said that I should use folk magic instead, but the books that I'm using and whatnot to teach, to talk about different things, they specifically say that these are how people in different hoodoo, not different, because when I say different, I mean like, well, I was talking about earlier, like New Orleans being a little bit different compared to Georgia and whatnot. Those are usually the two examples I go to. How they're seen in the hoodoo path, sort of say. I'm not really sure what terms are agreeable with you. So I'm not attacking you, but I really do not appreciate you writing sort of things all over my page. You wrote like tons of comments on here. I mean, you must have some sort of issue if you're going on YouTube and tracking down people who talk about hoodoo and then bashing them. So, so one comment I thought was hilarious was that you're saying witches do evil stuff like work with blood and semen and whatnot, which is funny because in hoodoo, you can work with blood and semen, menstrual blood I'm talking about, not like cutting yourself blood, which I'm sure some people may use that, but how I found out about using menstrual blood and semen was through learning about hoodoo. And I'm not talking about like just random websites I go to. I don't trust most of the information I find online, and I don't read anything by Lulin. I might have a couple older books before I started this path when I was 12, or books that were given to me. I'm talking about hoodoo, I'm just talking about like pagan paths I started getting to when I was 12, and I'm 23 now. They're talking about some people will put menstrual blood in their lover's coffee or their husband's coffee or whatnot to try and keep their lover with them. Semen was used in different bags to anoint different things like mojo bags and whatnot. So for you to write that you guys don't use that, it's a little bit strange considering that's how I learned about it. And through a reputable author that most people go to. When every person I talk about hoodoo, even from people from the South who say that they learned hoodoo in their family, give a lot of credit to this one company and to this one person. To Kat Ironwood, and some of you might not like her because I know there's some issues with that, but I don't tend to get involved in those things. I just tend to go for her information, and I like to look at her products, which I can't really afford right now, but if I could, I would get them because they seem to work from what most people talk about. So I don't know. I'm trying to look at these comments. Witches do nasty stuff. Menstrual blood, cement. I'm even talking about semen, excrement, etc. Witches won't use the Bible in the works. Witches do unjustified black magic against innocent people. Witches are obsessed with power and want to dominate everything in their lives. Witches will pretend to be good. Spiritual people continue. But a true hoodoo can always sniff them out. Witches hate real hoodoos because they're the only ones who can defeat them. Are we in the Dark Ages? Is the Spanish Inquisition coming back or something? Defeat us? Seriously? I don't even know how to respond to that. I've never done any malicious spells against anybody. Let's see what else she wrote here. I do know Christian witches, actually. Christian, like, spiritual people who will use different things or blend Christianity with working with the universe, because working a spell or doing witchcraft is basically working with the universe. And if you're Christian, you can say it's working with God or, like, angels or whatnot, depending on what type of Christian you are. I know Catholics might do a little bit things differently than people of different Protestant sects. Obsessed with power, want to dominate everyone in their lives. I don't want power. I just want to be able to pay my damn bills, and I want to be happy. Being happy for me is not happy. Like, I don't need much to be happy. I don't need a big house or car or all these different things to be happy. I just need good friends. How is that dominating everyone in my life? Most people I know, pagans and whatnot, are not like that. Let's see. Most of the so-called hoodoo online are witches pretending to be good people. Don't feel bad as these witches are good at fooling people. Don't trust the books out there either. Most are written by witches or people who don't have a clue what hoodoo is. Yes, okay, the last part I can understand, because a lot of times there's some people out there that will make books and whatnot that are unresearched and whatnot, and they just like, they'll write a book saying it's all true, and it's basically stuff that they've worked with. Like, well, my God told me in a dream that this was true, so I'm gonna write a book with it and pretend that it's historically accurate. So I understand that part a little bit, like not to really trust everything that you read and whatnot, but when every person out there is agreeing kind of with one person, saying like, wow, this person's really done their research, and this person has said and whatnot, has proof that they've been through and documented, have open documents, I can show you their documented works from interviewing different people that are considered, who practice hoodoo and whatnot, who are famous for practicing these certain things and whatnot, tend to agree with them. I'm trying to go through these comments, so sorry I'm kind of falling through them. Yeah, sometimes they're talking about getting a spin and omitting things, so which I just said, it's not always, like, good to read everything and degree of everything. It says, true HooDoo taught one-on-one. You will not learn real HooDoo online or from a book at all. Alright, so if somebody had a diary, let's say somebody had a diary, and wrote down all the things they had learned, and you consider this person a real HooDoo practitioner, a real like root worker or something, reading that diary and learning from it would make you not a HooDoo at all. It'd just be you having all this knowledge, but you're nothing still because that person didn't really go straight to you and teach you. I don't understand that. You're still sharing information and still teaching somebody, even if you're not there, if you have written works done. They're talking about Christian in the Bible are the core of HooDoo, which I think I understand. I think I talked about that already on this video. But again, when you're upset, you tend to go all over the place. And they said, you won't teach if you think you're a witch. I know when I was reading some books on Pennsylvania Deech or whatever, the folk practices taught over there on the East Coast, or that are older practices, they tend to be from communities or families and whatnot. And they do talk about evil witches that are casting curses and whatnot. But the way they describe it, they never describe it as like the neo-pagans or anything. They kind of have this old view of like, I feel like they came over here during some sort of time that they were cracking down on like these stereotypes of witches, like these green-skinned, long-nosed, warty kind of witches or something. And so I feel like they're talking about like this fake witch, like the kind you'd see in The Wizard of Oz or something, or like this evil, super evil person in the middle of the forest. They never really made it seem like they were talking about neo-pagans or anything, because this has been going on for a while. I know that neo-paganism and the pagan community has only been growing, you know, the last couple of years, like decades and whatnot, whereas some of these traditions and cultures and stuff like that have been living here or working in this, or the communities over there on the East Coast, haven't really had a lot of interaction with them, especially when they're smaller communities. So I think that they're not talking about the same thing. From what I've read, you know, let's see. Well, I was going to pull out a book, but I don't know. And this person just kept going on, and I'm sorry that you're so upset. All I did was make a video about Cloves and HooDoo, based on the work of Cat Ironwood, and I know I hope she doesn't get upset that I'm using some of her works and whatnot, because I'm not copying her exact book, and also I've been talking to other HooDoos. My information is not solely from her. But this rant that's going on, and I know she's fighting with another person that's kind of like talking about things, and it's sad because like in all these conversations there's this one person who says, very informative, thank you, I really love to use cloves. And I was like, how nice, and a nice little comment to like brighten my day with compared to all this evil, this, evil, that, blah, blah, blah. And this person actually started out giving me good information about these cloves also, because I had forgotten what the word were for the pomanders were, so they said they're called pomanders. I'm like, cool, thank you. And I read their information. They're saying that cloves are used to heat up tricks, clove oil is good for toothaches, blah, 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 and I'm like, I love learning from other people. That's mainly why I post videos, to share a little bit of my information that I have and to get information back from others. But then after that, it turned into this like bitch fest. So I'm sorry I upset you. I will not change my videos to all say folk magic just for you. I will not change how I view things or how I practice things or how I talk about things because you don't agree with it. I would have actually changed things a little bit and talked about it and called it folk magic perhaps if you had not been so snarky and had written very rude comments. So maybe you should be a little bit nicer to people. If you want them to learn and you want them to listen, you don't take the approach of being nasty. So, I don't think I've ever made a video this mean before. I hope you can't feel I feel like there's a lot of heat coming off my body right now because I'm that angry. I don't like this kind of attitude. It just really bothers me. I don't push myself on other people. You shouldn't push yourself on me. You should not call what I do evil unless you want to get it back to you. I'm not personally going to do it, but we'll see what the universe holds in for you when you feel that you are so righteous and everyone else is wrong. So, thank you for watching my video.